I've never seen a Miller Lite shirt look like that.
So this is a J Balvin Miller Lite
Who the
shirt.
fuck is that?
You don't know J Balvin?
No.
He is a Hispanic singer, rapper. He was real
You
big.
have a thing with Hispanic rapper or musicians in general, right? You got
Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny's your guy.
So my wife gets on these since she teaches Spanish and that bilingual, and she originally was a big J Balvin fan. So we went to like a J Balvin concert, and all of their stuff is like, I guess it's the culture is like really bright and like in your face type thing.
I like that.
So this was on the site, and I don't know if it was like some reason it wasn't selling, or they had a bunch, or maybe it was my size, but it was like $5.99.
Woo.
So I was like, that's a cool shirt for $5.99.
I like it.
But now she's not really into J Balvin, so we do more Bad Bunny stuff.
Yeah.
So I got an interesting topic today.
The Buffalo Bills?
The Buffalo Bills. Well, that's one topic too.
All right, what's your interesting topic?
So I was talking to my wife last night and this morning about this, and she kind of cringed a little bit when I was talking about it.
That's a good sign.
But she understood.
We talk about what makes our wives cringe.
Yeah, and this episode might make them cringe and maybe others cringe, but honestly, to start off, I wanted to start off on the topic and say, like, I'm very ignorant to the topic.
Oh, good.
So I went to like
that's the thing you want to talk most about.
Right. So like I am not judging anything. I'm ignorant to the topic and I just don't understand. So you don't go to the gym. So I go to the gym. I've been going to the gym 15, 18 years. And things are more recognizable now at the gym on a female level than they were.
Things are more recognizable on a female level.
Yes.
Okay, so are you saying that chicks be going to the gym wearing less and less?
Yes. Yes, that's exactly where I'm going. So there's these new pants out now that females wear at the gym. And it literally, when they're long-legged pants, they look very soft and comfy. And when they put them on and they pull them up, the middle of it goes straight to the butt crack.
Right, crack, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So all you have is just the butt cheeks out. Like, the butt cheeks are there. So when I was talking to my wife about this, like, she works out at home. She doesn't get to the gym, so she doesn't see everything I see. Okay, when a guy goes to the gym, these are three things that can, like... these are three things that a guy has on him that would be like, oh, okay, this is kind of strange. But I don't know what the female perspective is from it. Like, so the new thing for guys is like, I call them baby shorts. I even have baby shorts. They're 5 inches. They're supposed to be nicer. Like when you run, you walk. It's not like all down your legs. Yeah. So they come up to about mid thigh.
It's not like the early 2000s where you wore shorts
all the way
down below your knee. Yeah.
So for a guy like me, I have little legs.
You do?
So,
you got little chicken legs?
I got little chicken legs.
You skipping leg day, bro?
Always. Always. Like,
built like a martini glass.
I mean, once I got to a certain... yep. A flamingo. Yeah. That's what I'm going for. I used to do legs back in the day, and then once I got to a certain age, and you should do legs, but it's whatever. There's only enough time in the week.
Yeah, we don't have enough time to talk about legs in this podcast.
So, 3 things. Baby shorts for men.
Yeah.
Tank tops that are too big that a man's nipples might hang out.
Yeah.
And just a muscle shirt.
Okay. Or depending on the gym, some guys no shirt, right? No, they can't do that at Planet Fitness, but...
Yeah, I mean, you don't notice that as much. There's maybe one gym out of 5 gyms within a 20-mile radius. There's one gym that maybe you'll see a guy with that.
You kind of know that's the...
Right. It's more like steroids and things like that.
That's the steroid one, yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to guys, that's our 3 things that can like really expose us is baby shorts in case anything. I mean, not me, but some people stuff could fall out of baby shorts.
Baby parts aren't falling out.
Baby shorts, baby parts are good.
You're good.
Big boy parts, baby shorts.
No bueno.
No. So, but when it comes to girls and women at the gym, it's like there's so many things that expose. Like those pants, for instance, that like go up into your crack
Yeah.
and make the butt cheeks stand out.
Mm-hmm.
Tank tops where like the cleavage is falling out.
Yeah.
Girls really like to, when they do cardio, sometimes they'll tie their shirts where half of their back is exposed if they
Oh
get
no.
hot.
They're back.
Their back, yeah.
Are their ankles showing?
Sometimes,
Oh my
yes.
gosh.
I've seen some ankles. The shorts. Like, okay, so baby shorts for us come up to the thighs, and we're like, oh, this is weird on a guy. Like, this guy's
They
walking
got
around.
butt cheeks coming out.
But then, I would say over 50% of the girls that come in that wear shorts, when they walk, the bottom of their butt cheek
Slips out.
is slipping out.
Yeah.
So it's really, I've been, like, I asked her, and she's like, well, you seem to be sexualizing it. I'm like, I'm not, though. Like, I'm just trying to get an understanding from a woman's point. You have to feel so comfortable. And I've seen some women that in these, I'm like, how
Where are you going, Josh?
how do you feel comfortable? Which is great. I mean, I think it's great anybody can show off their self in a way.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the male mind still looks at these things like, whoa, I came to the gym to work out, and this is a distraction, even though you don't want it. And my wife's response to that, like, she feels like, okay, you're going to look. It's going to be natural as long as you don't act upon it. And I'm like, why do you wear a thing? Is it for comfortability? Is it to be noticed? Like, what part of it is it? And it's all
the answer. I mean,
it's all assumption from a male perspective, because I don't know, and
Well,
maybe
yeah,
that's why I can get feedback from clips from this to tell me maybe, hey, I wear it for this, or I wear it for this.
You know, obviously women aren't monolithic, so it's not all for one reason. But I'm sure there are women who are going to the gym for attention purely.
Right.
The people who record themselves and post on Instagram and stuff, and them working out.
And there's a lot. I feel like a guy.
But there's also women who are just going to the gym. They don't want to be bothered. They don't want anybody to talk to them. Just like there's men that go to the gym like that, like you. You don't want to be talking to nobody. You said.
Yeah, I don't talk to anybody at the gym.
And they're just probably wearing what for them maybe is comfortable. You know, women's clothes fit different.
They do fit different.
Women's
yes.
clothes don't have fucking pockets.
That's true.
I guess it's just like, what are your, if you go as a woman shopping for athletic wear, your options right now, if you were to go Target, are probably yoga pants, like tight ass fucking workout pants like that, and
tank tops. Yeah.
Or booty shorts. They don't make long shorts for women. They could buy men's clothes, I suppose.
Yeah, and it's weird too, because if I was single and I was at the gym,
Yeah.
and I don't know how many people, there's so many things now, my gosh, like you got the Tinders and Grinders and farm people and whatever, there's all these kinds of sites.
Right.
Back in the day, like you
had to go meet
you would meet people. And if
That's how old you are.
if I was single and looking for a person at the gym, as a guy, I kind of like, if I met someone, it would be more of the girl with like maybe the baggier pants on and the bigger shirt that wasn't exposing themselves so much.
I think
And it's more of a like hidden secret.
you should move to, if you're ever single, you should move to Iran, where they cover them up completely.
That's if I'm single, that's what I'm looking for at the gym.
Yeah.
Everything except your eyes.
You want the eye. Dude, I don't know, man. I think, okay, as a man who comes from a family of three sisters, mostly women, all my sisters are women. I have three sisters and mom, so a household of women, and as a father of a daughter, I kind of agree with your wife. Like, you don't want to, sexualize like the human body. I think, like breasts or whatever shouldn't be so taboo and appealing that it's like, oh my God, they're out. Look at them. Stare at them. Go jerk off later. But like, as a guy, I'm like, yeah, I get it. I mean, you know, like I guess like your wife said, you're gonna look, but I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a tough subject.
It's like your brain. Your brain.
But I think we're hardwired, especially in America, to look at those things. But maybe we shouldn't. Maybe we should just leave them the fuck alone.
And I had this discussion last night. Different cultures that, different cultures on like different islands and things like that. You watch TV shows and like everything's exposed.
Yeah.
So those people, I don't feel like have that sexualization or that mindset.
Right.
Like it's so just normal.
You went to Spain. You went to the beach, right?
I didn't. Well, we went to the beach, but it wasn't a nude beach.
You don't even have to go to a nude beach though. You go to a Spanish beach and they're just wearing strings, and even the men are wearing those banana hammocks and stuff. And it's not sexual. It's just
their way of.
That's what they wear to the beach.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. The little banana hammock things.
This
men
is
wear.
what men.
That's
This is what
exposing.
women wear to the gym. I guess I don't know.
When we go to Cancun, Mexico, you see a lot of different things at the pool that you would not see here because so many different
You see
people
any
are coming from. Sometimes, yeah.
I mean, so wait, what's the root? What's your question?
I don't know. No, like I'm thinking over here.
Yeah, no. I mean, I think it's like I think women probably a lot of women probably just like you want to be left alone at the gym. Like I don't know. I don't go to the gym, and obviously I'm a married man, but I think I've seen videos of women talking about it, like they just want to be left alone at the gym. They're not there to like hook up.
I think you could still go to the gym and want to be looked at as attractive and left alone.
I think that's fair too. Yeah, you. I think that's not just the gym. I think actually that's a big good point, Josh. I think, yeah, people, women or men, are allowed to dress in a way that makes them feel good and maybe even attractive, and still not want, on someone to come up to them and like chat them up or stare at them or take photos of them.
Right. And I think we do good as a society. Whenever we go to the gym, it's sometimes you see a weirdo like being dumb and not having a chance, but like being flirty with a
Chatting
girl.
these girls up or something.
But you don't see a girl like on an ab machine and 5 guys waiting in line to say, "Hey, can I have your number?" Like,
yeah.
I don't think enough guys even at the gym have enough confidence just to walk up to a random girl that's working out and being like, I was attracted to you.
Yeah, hey, what up?
And she would be like, who isn't attracted to you?
Yeah, in line. Oh man, I mean, yeah, I think it's just like the nature of women's clothes these days.
Do you think when women dress like that at the gym, do you think that they're okay with guys staring at them? Like, do they expect that part?
Okay, so there's like this blame, right? Like if you stare at a girl who's dressed in any way that you find attractive, then you're a creep.
Right.
And so like that's a tough subject because it's like, then you get into why'd you dress that way? But then it's like, you can't blame somebody for dressing a certain way and say that, your actions are therefore justified. Like obviously you can't go up and touch a girl because she's dressed a certain way. That's still assault. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's not an excuse. Yeah. Like it's like those people who say, "Well, I raped her because she was dressed like a hooker."
Yeah, that's not an excuse.
Cool. But like, dude, I don't know.
And I think a lot of minds work different. Like I may be able to go to the gym, and a girl's doing squatting and her butt cheeks are hanging out. I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, she's attractive. Her butt cheeks are out, but I'm going back to watch my movie.
I'm going to watch this over here, yeah.
But I think there are people.
There's a lot of people.
There's guys too. Yeah. Maybe their past and stuff, they haven't experienced different things, and they're like obsessed with just that, and they don't take their eyes off of it for the half hour.
A lot of virgins out there, yeah.
So it's all a mental thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's like porn too. Like I think we have this culture that like it's okay to look at porn. Which, I think it is, but it does do damage in the sense that I think it hypersexualizes people, and women are generally the victim of that.
Well, like I told my wife, I said, a men's testosterone is at its highest at the gym. I mean, you're...
Especially when you're, juicing like you.
Yeah, juice.
What, you natty, bro?
Yeah. Natty Light.
Natty Light, yeah. Natty Ice.
Oh, it's the same, and I brought this up with her too. Like, if a guy goes out, if you go out on a date and you go to like a high class restaurant, a guy is found attractive by his hair, by his facial appearance. He might wear a 3-piece, jawline, 3-piece suit.
Right.
Like
his clothes, his smell. Like there's
right.
things that.
And then a woman, and not all women do this, but a lot. And I used the example as like the red carpet. We look at a woman's outfit as how much she is exposed a lot too.
Yeah, when you got like people like Kanye's wife walking around basically naked and stuff.
Right. That's a great example. Yeah. Like.
Yeah. And I mean, a lot of female role models that are celebrities, especially, they're dressed up in a way that's super revealing. And like, I'm not someone who thinks like that should be censored or like people should stop doing that, but
I think some celebrities too.
It plays into this stuff, I think.
Are a little different than the norm, where we're protective over, like, we don't want guys thinking, oh, I want to have intercourse with his wife because she's dressed this way. But a lot of celebrity men are put in a situation they can have any girl they want or any look they want because they have the money to get that. Mm-hmm. So like Kanye, I feel like when he's walking around with his wife, he has a mindset like, God, I hope all these guys are thinking they want to have intercourse with my girlfriend, because
it's weird, right? Yeah,
it is. Like, why I feel like dresses her, like,
oh, for sure.
like he wants her to look a certain way.
There's some interview with like her ex that I read. It was like her ex said like, oh, she never used to dress like that.
Right.
She was not all about the attention like that before.
Oh, I'm sure that he's like, this is how you're going to dress, and I want you to look.
He's produced this person. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Do girls look at packages and men's shorts at the gym, or through suits? Like,
probably. You know what's funny? I was listening to someone else talk about this, and I think it's true. Men don't really talk to their guy friends about their women. Like, I think in all of my life, even in my younger days, even with girls that I was just casually seeing, I didn't like go around and tell my buddies like how good they were in bed or what happened.
Right.
At the most obscene thing I might have been like, yeah, we got lucky, or we had a little, we had a thing.
Now that you said it, I was the same way.
But I think, and women think that men talk all about that. Right. And then men think women don't talk about that stuff at all, but women talk about that shit all the time. Mm-hmm. Women talk about sex and how big, their men's packages are and all that stuff all the time. So it's like, but that's with their girlfriends.
Guys are like, I think, I'll say I feel like a little more immature in that area where we're not. It's like we wouldn't go with our friends and be like, oh my gosh, she was fantastic and she did this and this. The most I hear guys are like, oh my God, her boobies were big.
She got big boobies.
Yeah. And like we're like, oh, big boobies? Big boobies? Yeah. We don't want to know the rest.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, it is just like that. It's funny. I mean, so in some ways, I think men are taught now to kind of those things are shameful, like to talk about women like that in this culture. I feel like is just like more shameful, or for men to be really pursuant of a woman. I think sometimes there's like shame behind it, like
right.
You shouldn't do that, you shouldn't act like that. Like women's hormones are wild, right? And like, again, as a guy who grew up with a bunch of sisters,
right.
Like, the house was fucking crazy at least once a month. And women, my sisters were fucking out of their minds. And women have all these hormones and wild things, but men's hormones are not really acceptable. You know, like it's acceptable for a woman to act a certain way because they're on their period, or a certain way because, you know, they're irritable, whatever. I don't know. And then, but men, I don't think it's acceptable for us to act hormonally, which is, you know, our hormones are sex driven. Like, testosterone just makes you want to, you know, put your dick in everything. But,
Right.
you know, it's not acceptable.
It's not.
It's not acceptable. So there is a bit of a, what's it called, double standard there. You know, like, our hormones are bad, to be ashamed of, needed to be repressed, and as we grow older and more mature, we should act less to our sex hormones. But women, that's not really the case.
Yeah, and
So there's that.
I would rather at the gym, if you're really like showing off your body, I'm more impressed by a woman in her anywhere between late 20s, very early 40s, that is exposing themselves a little more because they've had a kid, 2 kids, 3 kids, and they've worked themselves. Because I know I was a trainer for 9 years, and the birth of a child on a woman is so hard to recover from in some cases.
Yeah.
Like, it is. Like, it's very hard. Like, men are given a body, and we control what we do with it to make ourselves, like, be presentable, to be healthy.
There's not a lot of outside things impacting our bodies other than ourselves. Yeah.
Now, there
Women are, you know, they go through childbirth. I get what you're saying.
there's some women that are fit and they can have a kid, and within like a month they look fit again.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the case for, I would say, 90% of women. Like, it really,
And even that's not without a ton of work. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
It takes a lot. I mean, even
That said, though, I just to say, I think pregnancy is very is a beautiful thing.
Mhm.
I think, and mothers after the fact, I think are or can be, or mostly, you know, are beautiful even after the fact, even if they're not like fit.
right.
You know, like, I don't think there's, I think there's, I think that pressure is mostly put on by them. Like, I you know, I'm very attracted to my wife, regardless of every phase of her pregnancy and after and before. You know, like, it was not. I never thought, oh, I wish my wife was, you know, what she looked like when she was 20.
Right.
You know.
And that's expected when you're married.
Yeah, and I think women think that there is, though. I bet a lot of guys feel like I do. They look at their wife and they go, wow, my wife's beautiful, regardless of where they are in their, you know, journey with their bodies. And I think women think that they need to be what they were when they were 22.
Right. Well, their body changes so much after pregnancy. I mean, from boobs to stomach to everything, you know, like, there's so many different things that they have to get used to. And I feel like it's a very emotional and like, just mind racing thing that going through the pregnancy, women usually love going through the pregnancy, like carrying a baby, having the baby, taking care of the baby, and then there's a realization maybe 6 months afterwards, you're like, oh, this is where I'm at now. Like, this is shameful, or like, and I mean, I think you have both sides. Some women are like, hey, I had a kid. Fuck everybody. Like, this is what I'm going to look like.
Yeah.
And then some women are like, oh, man, I wish I could be. And I think the same goes for men in a different way, where...
Did you gain weight after or during your wife's pregnancy, or after?
Not really. Like, I still went to the gym and everything. Like,
I gained weight when my wife was pregnant. I think it was like, you know, she's like going through her things and she wants snacks, and I'm like, yeah, let's get some snacks.
Let's get some snacks.
Let's get some snacks. But I don't know, man. two guys talking about women's bodies, I feel like this is dangerous territory.
Well, and that's what I told her. I said, you know, it is getting to something, but again, I'm ignorant to this conversation, and I would love to be enlightened on answers from different people. Like, I don't think anything is right or wrong. I'm saying that, like, there's an understanding. I don't care how old I am, there's an understanding I still don't know everything that women feel going through different processes. Like,
We will never.
we will never. No.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, a period alone. Like,
Yeah.
that's crazy. Like, there's some things we do not have to go through.
If I woke up and I was bleeding,
Yeah, right.
I'd be alarmed. Yeah,
Yes.
I'd be very alarmed. Yeah.
But men have, when we're going through the end of, I feel like when we go through the end of high school into college, if guys are going to lift and everything, that's their most domain prime time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, guys want to be looked ripped and
Yeah.
coming out of high school into college, and that's when they want to have muscle, and then they might
Do you
fade
think
off
that's
that.
driven by the fact that men want to do that to try to find a mate? Like,
Yes,
so they want to look attractive, you think?
right.
You know, because I lifted for a very short period of time. I didn't really lift very much, and it was in my early 20s when I was doing it. But then, I felt like I was doing it for me, but I don't know, looking back, if it was for me or not.
Yeah,
I feel like obviously you go to the gym now probably just for you.
I do it just for me, and it's more of a OCD thing that, like,
This is routine.
this is how I've been doing it.
You're not going to change it.
Now, I will say the difference is when I was coming out of high school, say 11th and 12th grade year, in my college years, man, I would be fucking pumped when I went to the gym. Like, I would turn on music, like, it's gym time. Like,
Do you
two
take
and a
a
half
pre-workout?
hours. It's funny, I used to, and I try to now, but as I have aged,
have a heart
pre-workout, like, gets me going too much, even though I need it when I'm sleepy on the way to the gym.
Bro, I took I took C4
That stuff's wicked.
before so I just jumped right into it, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. Me and my buddy both took C4. I think we took too much. And bro, before we even got to the gym, we were just like, I just want to lift a car. Like, you just feel like a maniac.
When we
Can
go
you imagine
to,
feeling like that all the time?
oh no, I mean, I know people that do and act like that all the time.
I feel like it would be like I think I would probably end up hurting people.
It puts you on a different level.
You're just like, yeah.
You're thinking with your adrenaline.
It's a good way to say it. You're thinking with your adrenaline.
Yeah, you're gonna
Which is basically not at all. You're just like, ah!
like I used to love. I mean, what a rush it was
It's a
to
rush.
go to the gym when I was younger and just knew like I was just going to lift weights.
I'm gonna lift 200 pounds.
And
right
now I leave work and I'm like, oh my god, I gotta go to the
Here we
gym.
go. Yeah.
I mean, I put in just as much effort, but at the same time, it's just not.
The mental's different. Mental games.
It's not as fun. Once I get there and start doing it, it's a different thing, but it's just on the way there.
Yeah.
But I feel like men can go down a road where you can have a little bit of the dad bod, bring yourself back. Like we can
That's
go
the other
up
thing.
and down
Dad
a
bod.
lot.
You know, there isn't really. So dad bod was fine. Still might be. I'm not sure. I think it's.
Oh
less-
yeah,
I think culturally that's shifted a little bit. Dad bod's less cool now than it was. But there was a big chunk of time where dad bod was like,
huge.
that was big. And there was never, though, I think culturally a mom bod that like everyone was like, oh yeah, mom bods. That's what I'm after.
That's true.
Women, I think, have a more pressure to look good and to stereotypically good and to be fit.
And that's funny too because dad bod, like dads don't really go through anything like a pregnancy that changes us instantly where we have to work back from.
It's just
It's
they stop going to the gym and
Right.
and eating, and they eat more. Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but we go to the beach every year. We've been going to Cancun, Mexico for 5 years now.
Do you ever feel weird about taking your shirt off?
No,
Never.
no,
Me either. I have a hairy back. I'm not fit.
no. Like
I never worry about it.
even if I go the next year and put on some pounds, like there's never been a point where I'm like, I'm gonna get in the pool with my shirt on.
Yeah.
Like I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Rather what people think.
Yeah.
Like there's probably people that go to the gym every day and still wear a shirt in the pool because they still don't feel to them like they are.
I know some really fit guys that are like that.
That still wear like shirts in the pool and things.
Yeah, they're very insecure about their body, even though they're fit and muscular.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what I was going to say. It is very, very rare that you go to a beach anywhere, and even now I'll bring this topic up as I go in, that you see fit couples. Like, it is rare
Fit
unless
couples with kids.
Right.
Fit couples pre-kids, I think you see a lot of.
Like, if there's an age range that you see, like, fit couples in their 20s.
18 to 24.
Yes. But when you start getting into, honestly,
And then
when you
there's,
go
like-
to the beach and you see a family with kids, the wife is always the more fit.
Well, maybe that's just because in your eyes, women are more attractive than men.
I don't know. I mean, I look at both. Not that I'm attracted to both, but I look
Yeah.
at both and be like, oh, wow,
Wow, look at that pecker.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that pecker on him. Man, that banana hammock's really bouncing out there today. There's a nice set of boobies or a banana hammock. Which one is my eyes going to? But have you ever gone to the beach and stuff and you're like wowed by this like attractive fit woman and her husband is like way overweight, never looked like he went to the gym or anything, and you're like, I bet though back in the day he was probably just as fit and
I just look at the sun. I don't look at any women or I just look at right at the sun.
just let my eyes burn while I'm here. Sean, what are you
I've
looking
never-
at over there? Not
never-
just let my eyes burn.
I've never looked at another woman in my life as a married man. Yeah, I just stare at the sun.
But some couples, I feel like there are times that women that are really fit would go for a dad bod because and it can flip the opposite way. That a guy would go for a woman that, goes to the gym once in a while, eats what she wants, tries to stay fit because there's some competition there. You don't want a spouse. If you're going out working your ass off every day, you don't want your spouse
To one up, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. I think there can be some competition in relationships like that. Like, I mean, maybe there's women who feel like they're after pregnancy, like their husbands are doing a lot, and they feel like, I don't know, jealous by it or something.
And after a pregnancy, do you think like the dad bod kind of kicks in too, where the woman is okay with the husband changing and having dad bod because she has changed, and now they're kind of changing together.
There's comfort in the fact that their spouse is focused on something else except for themselves. So okay, I think that's the real reason for a dad bod is that a lot of times men who just had a child as well, like their priorities are changing, and maybe for a period of time they're not going back to the gym every day because they're helping around, or their priorities have changed. They're also not trying to look like at their peak of attractiveness or sexuality because they found their mate. They're not trying to do it for that reason anymore, and that's what I think separates people like you, like you're going to the gym for you or because of habit.
Right.
Whereas there's a lot of men, I think, that go to the gym just to look good, and that probably fades more quickly.
One of the things that keeps me going to the gym is I hope to keep going to the gym and being a bigger guy and with tattoos and things to be a scary person for my daughter when she reaches an age and starts dating.
That's
I
good.
want to be that kind of dad that when you walk to the door, like, oh, don't want to
fuck
over
this guy.
this guy's daughter.
I saw this shirt that this guy put his daughter in a shirt that was like a picture of him, and the shirt said, "This is my dad," and then the dad was like looking like the Hulk, and then in the next frame, she's like a teenager and she's like pregnant.
Oh my gosh!
And it's like clearly Jimmy didn't give a fuck about dad.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So my dad was real scary, big guy. maybe not he never went to the gym, but he was just like one of those big guys. He was big. He was overweight, but he was also just like muscular, big like natural muscle guy.
Right.
You know,
Just a big bone guy.
Big guy, and my dad carried like 3 guns at all times. Like my dad was a scary guy. I think to other people, not to me. Like I remember a time when my sister brought home a guy. I think she was about 16. My dad was about 5'10", 5'11", wasn't super tall. This guy walks in, he's 6'4", 6'5", and my dad would have the talk with every boyfriend that came over, and I would always listen from the other room. We were all supposed to go upstairs and like.
Oh, so he would want this like one-on-one.
One-on-one.
That's scary right there.
And I would listen in because I thought it was great. It was like watching a movie. And my dad's process was the same every time, but the guys didn't know that. He would take his gun out, put it on the table, because it was on his hip, and put it on the table, pretty much faced towards them. And he would say something along the lines of that he's not afraid to go back to jail. Now, my dad was never in jail, but they didn't know that. And, you know, that she better not come home pregnant and all that stuff. Anyway, this one guy, bigger than my dad, left the house crying. So, like, that stuff worked, I think, for a while.
Heck yeah.
It worked.
It's the age difference.
Yeah, like a grown-ass man, and you're 16, you're scared, yeah.
I don't know what it is. Like, I mean, there's an intimidation factor with, I don't care if a guy is 70 years old. There's an older man is always an intimidation factor to a younger guy.
Would you be intimidated by your wife's dad at all right now?
Yeah. I mean, he has like a...
Like if he was mad at you and sat you down and said, "Don't do that shit."
Yes.
You'd be like,
yes. He has a way, I think, that can just make you feel like this is what I mean without putting hands on you.
Yeah.
And
I'm serious. Yeah.
And you got to respect that too, because that's his daughter.
Yeah. My father-in-law not so much.
Yeah, whatever.
Well, whatever, Chief. But I think I get that. Yeah, I think I get that. My dad was that guy.
And how did you feel? Was there ever times that you ever had to say anything to your sisters as a brother, like, you should not leave like this, or you should not act like this?
I was the youngest, so okay. My older 2 sisters, they were pretty much out of the house before I was thinking that way.
Right.
And then my younger sister, well, she's older than me still, but younger of the 3. I never had to talk to her like that. No, she was my family. The women in my family are all more masculine women. You met some of my sisters. They're very aggressive women,
right?
And in their relationships, all throughout, they wear the pants. So like, my dad, I think, raised them in that way, like to be assertive, aggressive, stand their ground, and so and they also, none of them ever really dressed like skimpy.
Maybe it wasn't really a time either. The times have changed.
It may have been the timing, and maybe I'm wrong about it. Maybe I just was ignorant to it at the time. But I feel like no, I definitely never said that. But I think in some families, I'm sure that's the case. Yeah.
I think that is one thing.
If I was an older brother, it might be different too.
That's true.
My sisters were protective of me.
They're like, Sean, don't let your cleavage hang out.
Yeah, they're like, put your boobs away.
And having a daughter, with the times changing and things becoming so normal for kids the way they dress, like, I don't think it's really, for a wife understands it a lot, but I think it's heartbreaking when your daughter gets to that age and she leaves the house and that's the norm to look and dress like that. As a dad, you're like, oh my gosh, there's nothing. When she leaves the house, the wife is saying, this is how they dress, honey. This is how you're like,
yeah, fuck.
They're like leaving and you're like, oh my God, there's nothing I can do about this. This is supposed to be normal.
Put this down. I think it would be. I haven't thought about it because my daughter's so young.
Right. But haven't you thought about, like, if things are the way they are now, when our daughters get to, like, 15, 16?
My daughter's
what
going to be
the-
homeschooled. I mean, I don't know. Again, I think this goes into the hypersexualization of the female body. I think that is the problem.
Men are horn dogs.
Yeah, I mean, I know what I was like in school, so I think it's there's definitely a cultural issue like that. Young men have this goal of losing their virginity and, like, wanting to do it and
Have no feelings behind it.
have no feeling behind it, yeah, or they think they don't. And I think it's tough. It's probably going to drive me crazy when my daughter's older.
A guy is so much more prone when they lose their virginity to be so happy and proudful. And I feel like a girl, if she loses her virginity, like, if that guy... And I don't know, this is another topic, and I would love to ask my wife this because I've never brought this up with her. When a girl loses her virginity and the guy is only proudful and he wants to tell his buddies, like, how demeaning is that your first time? That guys don't care usually if it means something. Girls, I feel like, hold back. The ones that do hold back do want to feel like there's some kind of care there for a guy. Guys are just like, man, I just want to lose my virginity so I don't look like a loser.
I don't want to be a loser.
And a girl's like, I don't want to hold off so I'm not a hoe.
Yeah,
like,
right,
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think
there's definitely a double standard. My dad obviously didn't want my sisters to lose their virginity. I think he wanted to imagine they were going to be virgins forever. The expectation, no men upstairs, no boys upstairs, right? Like the talks and all that stuff. Whereas, like, when I turned 16, my dad gave me a bag full of condoms.
he's like, go at it, Sean.
Yeah, and, like, everything short of a high five. So I think it's definitely a double standard. But then there's, men can't get pregnant. But
That's why I think dads are so protective too, and moms I think are in this where.
But if I had gotten someone else pregnant, I think my dad would have been just as concerned.
Right.
If I was 16 and got some girl pregnant, he would have been like, "The fuck," I'm sure your dad too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But they never talk to us like that.
Oh, it looks worse. I mean, this is one thing where I don't think it should, but it looks worse on a girl when a girl gets pregnant at 16 than it does on the guy.
Yeah.
Because she has to go through carrying a baby in school.
Yeah, like
she
those
still goes to
shows,
school.
like the teenage pregnant shows.
Right.
It's just about the girls, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
And those relationships hardly ever last.
Well,
And
yeah, you can't be expected to take care of a baby at that age.
this is how I look at it. And honestly, I feel like I would tell my daughter this. You know how we have spoke before, when you go to the casino, whatever money you take, expect to lose.
Yeah.
When you first get a boyfriend, go into the relationship knowing that this one's not going to last.
Yeah. That's so hard to hear, though.
It is.
It's like you can't treat it. I don't think they can treat it that way.
I mean, I would love to know the percentage of kids that get in relationships in middle school and that would last and get married and all that. Like, there is a lot of
They
heartbreak.
probably shouldn't.
No.
I mean, the chances of that being the right person and the fact that you just want to experience other people and see what you like and don't like, you'd have no idea at that age. But I don't know, man.
Have you ever been in a relationship where you were the sad one and the other
sad one? Yeah.
girl was not the sad one?
Oh, I've been sad. I've been dumped.
Me too.
Yeah, it sucked.
It does suck.
So it was years before, like years of dating before I got dumped. It was like, it was either like mutual, we were both just messing around and we both moved on, or, I moved on. Then when I got dumped, I was like, wait.
Right.
Oh no.
It is.
Yeah.
When you're on the opposite end of it and you're not
It
the one
sucks.
dumping and you're not expecting it, it
Oh,
is
it sucks.
terrible feeling.
I got dumped before Christmas. It was like Christmas Eve or something one year. I was like, felt like a sad Taylor Swift song, you know. That's what it felt like. But
Yeah, I mean, when I got dumped, I always used to listen to music and compare myself to the music.
yeah, I just crying to like Korn or something. That was me.
It's so hard, and I think it gets overlooked on kids in middle school and high school too. It's not like in society where once you get older, maybe you might not ever see that person again. Like if you get a divorce, like maybe the chance of seeing them out to eat with another guy, they're dating or something, or if you're friends on Facebook, which you probably wouldn't be. But when you're in middle school and high school
You still have to
and
see
you
that
get
person.
dumped, you're showing up to the same place every day, and then it's nothing for a week later they're holding hands with somebody else in the hallway. I think that's what makes it really hard on kids when they're going through relationships, is you got to show up to the same place as them the very next day in a building that you're going to pass them or be in a class with them
Yeah, that's
and
tough.
see them. And that's where I think a lot of emotional things pop and rise and fights. And
You know this better than I do, being that you're still working in the schools.
yeah, I mean, you see it all the time. Like, I would say a lot of controversy comes from relationships.
Do you think that a solution would be to just ban relationships in schools?
Well,
Is that even possible?
let me say this. So, I went to a private school from kindergarten to fifth grade, and they almost did that. Like, they had a 6-inch rule. You could not hold hands.
Oh, that's okay.
You females and males could not sit together on the buses. They really didn't even want to catch you outside of the school.
Certainly no kissing or hugging in the halls or anything like
Like
that.
if somebody saw you that was a higher up, a teacher, a principal, somebody at the, because most private schools are associated with a church. So even if they saw you in public and you were like holding hands or kissing, like it would be brought up.
What happened out of school will be brought up in school.
Yeah, like,
Oh, jeez.
well, you shouldn't represent yourself like that outside of school. We saw you doing this. So, but you know what that does?
It just makes it taboo.
It makes you want to
You
do
just
it
in the-
even more.
You do it in the shadows, and then now it's
Right.
exciting because it's not allowed. And yeah, I mean, it's like, have you ever heard of the kids are using this term these days? The Mormons, you know. So Mormons, they're real strict about their rules, and there's like no sex before marriage is one of
Right.
them, and no drinking and stuff. Apparently, Mormons, the kids have worked this workaround, which is called soaking. Have you heard of this?
No.
It's where they put it in and just leave it.
What?
And they think that that's some workaround to the religious ban on sex. Obviously, it's not. It's like, it's like, I think there was, at least when I was younger, the real Christian girls, they would do other things besides have sex.
Right.
But it was, it's
You got me thrown off with soaking.
soaking's wild. Yeah, there's even part 2 of soaking. Is what then a third person comes in and shakes the bed.
Oh,
So if someone else shakes the bed while you're soaking,
man.
yeah,
I feel like you could just get a waterbed that vibrates.
it's a ridiculous concept.
I mean, some places still do, like, what is it? You sleep in bags.
Sleeping bag.
Like, you could sleep with your significant other or your boyfriend or girlfriend, but you got to be, like, in these bags. Maybe that's just the movies. I have to look
With the
that up.
chastity belt on.
Yeah. Or your
Yes,
head's
but,
popped out.
But you're right. It just makes it, because it's not allowed, it just makes you want to do it more. So I think that's almost the wrong approach. You're right. Like, whenever you tell someone not to do something that they're driven highly to do, they're just going to do it behind your back.
I mean, how do you feel about these other cultures that women can only expose their eyes? Like, I think it can be two different ways. One, I think it keeps the men... I got ready to say something and I was like, no, maybe it's the opposite. Like, sexual assaults and thing, maybe it keeps it down. But then again, I feel like it keeps it up because you're so wanting to know. You're seeing these women covered up all
That's
the
what
time.
I was saying about hypersexuality. Yeah, if you're covered up completely, then when you see a leg or a kneecap, you're like,
Right.
and that's not good either, because then it probably just does drive more assaults.
I was thinking that. I was going to say less, but then my mind just flipped.
In those places, women don't have the right to go to court or sue or press charges against men.
Right.
Like in a lot of those places, women can't do that. So you don't hear about it.
But in those places, too, if there is sexual assault, they will drag you out in the street and 10 guys will beat you till you're dead.
If you rape someone else's wife or a child.
Right.
But if you're, you know, I think a lot of that just goes uncaught and untalked about. And that's not great.
This is an interesting thing to look up. I've heard, I think it's Iceland. Like, what is the safest place for a woman to live? That there's not as much, like, sexual assaults and attacks, and women can feel safe alone
it's certainly
in
not
places.
the United States.
No.
Like, I think we're actually pretty low on that list. And it's kind of ridiculous that we are. I think it's like 1 in 3 or 1 in 4 women have experienced sexual assault.
It's a shame that my wife cannot go out. She can, but it plays a mind game where she shouldn't go out to Walmart once it gets dark.
Yeah.
By herself.
I mean, the fact that we live in this you know, the greatest place on earth, and yeah, women are worried about basic stuff like going to the grocery store. Like, you know, my wife has had a guy follow her out to the parking lot, like, too much.
I think there's too many stories we hear about that.
There's too many stories. Yeah, I mean, that's just one, and there's been lots more. And yeah, I think that obviously we should do whatever we can to try to fix that, I think. But yeah, as far as where's the best place for women, you know, we've actually kind of looked this up before. I don't remember the number one, but we rank really poorly on that list, and I think there's a lot of first world countries that struggle with this problem. And certainly it's not the places where they cover women up from head to toe. That's not the best place for women either.
Interesting.
So, I don't know. Maybe it's places where, maybe it's like how in, I think, is it Portugal or someplace, Venezuela or something, where all drugs are legal, but yet drug use is actually down. Maybe it's something like that. It's the inverse of what you'd think would be true. I mean, it goes into what you were saying. If you tell someone not to do something they want to do, and then they're going to do it anyway.
Right.
So maybe by making, you know, by desexualizing the body and you know, like places where, like we talked about Spain or in Europe, where people go to the beach wearing less and all that. Kids don't grow up thinking boobies.
Right.
You know?
Right. No, that's true.
You know, they think of them more like, oh, this is how you feed a baby.
We don't talk, like, now that I'm thinking about this, we do not talk about that in society, how America is not a safe place as it should be for women out and about.
No, you're right. That's the problem.
It is.
Yeah.
How do you fix it?
Dude, I don't know. I'm not. Move. Leave. I mean, okay, so I have some buddies who are really about, you know, sticking through something to try to make it better, like to change a place.
Right.
I think America is partially about this in general. It's like, we believe if this isn't your perfect idea of what the world should be like, then stick around to vote and change it and make it better. Like I think that's part of the dream of America in some ways. With our freedoms, we should be able to influence our society, our culture, and make it better. But frankly, I'm like, that's just a pipe dream. Just fucking leave, go somewhere else.
There's not enough people like us. We can make a tiny change, but you're not going to change the brains of these psychopaths that are following people around at Walmart. Like, that's just going to happen.
Yeah.
And I think the scary part is, like, yeah, we could go to Walmart and a group of guys can come up and beat us and rob us, but unless they stick a finger up my butt, like, I'm not going to be, like, it's totally different for a woman. Like, just by a guy robbing a woman out by herself and maybe even grabbing her breast or smacking her rear end, like, she has the PTSD of being robbed, for one, and being sexually assaulted in the most minor way that's going to affect her, where a guy can just get beat up and take his wallet.
Yeah, I mean, I think because by and large men are bigger than women, they feel like they could be victimized by almost any man, whereas we don't go about our day thinking about that. Like, yeah, if you wanted to beat me up, I know that you could, but
you might have some kind of like that's. I want to jump on this real fast. My thing is, I never assume, and I don't feel like I never go into a fight or not a fight, but
All
like
the time, yeah.
I never go out in public thinking I could just look at people and know I can beat them up.
yeah,
Like I feel
Yeah.
like that is one perception that is terrible to have. Is just because if you go to the gym, you're bigger. If you, I think people. That's a
lot of those
scary
guys have bad
situation.
mobility. They they can't
Right.
even move their arms.
I can't even scratch my back. Like, but yeah, if I'm out in public and some incident occurs, like the first thing is like I could kick this guy's ass. That's not. I'm thinking, man, what's this guy know that I don't? Like,
Yeah.
does this guy do something?
Jiu-jitsu or some shit.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he's gonna roll me. Yeah, no, yeah, you're right. Yeah, there is that. But I just don't go about my day thinking about that very often. You know, even if I see a big ass jack dude or some, you know, even somebody who looks like, you know, intimidating, I don't walk by them and think that they could victimize me,
Right.
even if they very clearly could. But I think a lot of women do feel that way and fear that, and that's shitty.
And I kind of went this episode and I didn't know it was going to go this way, honestly. The way we started out, like, I feel like there's going to be some, like, hit or miss of what we talked about women, what they wear to the gym. But I kind of want this episode to go down the road to be more recognizable what women have to go through. Because I sit here and things pop in my mind of different altercations and different situations. And one thing that did come to my mind is at concerts, when people crowd surf. How many times have you heard of stories where a woman's getting assaulted and during just at a concert trying to have fun and crowd surf, and guys are touching and
celebrities, yeah, like, you know, getting groped as they're
right,
you know, crowd surfing or whatever. And yeah, I mean, just even in the crowd or whatever. You know?
and I've seen stories too and videos of people in crowded buses and a woman standing there and a guy's like trying to rub his dick on her.
Yeah.
Like that's we do not have to go there. I've never been on a bus where a woman's trying to smack up my wiener while I'm standing there in a crowded thing or pull her yank.
And
on me.
that's the other thing is, now you're married, obviously, but you know, let's say you were in your 20s, you wouldn't have minded.
Right.
Even if she was like some old ass lady like flicking your ding dong, you probably would have been like, all right, weirdo, I see you.
This is a cool bus ride home I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, you're gonna still go home and tell your buddies like, yo. But you don't go feeling assaulted.
Right.
I think in order to compare those things, you'd have to compare it as if another man was doing it to you. That's the only way you could potentially try to imagine what it would feel like. Because if you imagine it as a woman doing it, you're just going to imagine something somewhat still pleasurable.
Right.
Like you're going to be like, that wasn't so bad. I mean, but if a guy was rubbing his dick on you or jerked off on you on the bus.
And I wasn't attracted to that
Yeah.
type of thing.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm standing there and somebody's doing that, I'm like, woo.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll have second thoughts, like, what? Wait,
Yeah.
what? But yeah, women are put in situations that it's just not the same, and it's just not out there enough that.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's good that we are thinking about it and that maybe other men think about it, but it is also something that I think you just got to get a woman's perspective on, because we don't know what it's like. I mean, before I met my wife and really talked to her about some of these things, I didn't really meet any women who really wanted to talk about that stuff.
Right.
I never talked about that stuff with other women. So I just had no fucking clue how often it happened. And you know, like, just hearing about stories from, you know, my wife's past, it's like, it can happen anytime, at every age.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it sucks.
How many movies and stuff do you watch, like, over the years where it's very, if it's like a college movie or a high school movie and a guy and girl are together and the girl doesn't want to, how it's like the guy is coaxing her so much where you never see the opposite of the girl once in a while, but not maybe 90-10.
Again, because like
where,
men don't really need coaxing.
right.
I mean, you know,
But how bad does that make us look? Like if you're with a girl
Yeah,
and she's
not
like,
great.
I'm not sure
Not great.
if I'm ready, and you're like, oh, come on,
Yeah.
we've been together, like, let's just do it, everything will be fine.
I mean, okay, so I think there's a difference between, encouraging or trying to, persuade, and some of that we would actually just call charm. Not what you were saying, but like there's a portion of what a man might do that might be considered being charming. You're trying to make the other person feel comfortable and get them along with your line of thinking and get them on the same page and to, warm it up and make it romantic. Even things like putting rose petals out and setting the mood. All of that is coercion in a way.
Making them feel like they are something special rather than saying like you're just something I want to get off to.
Yeah, all that is in a way manipulation.
It is.
You're doing it because your end goal is you just want to get laid, and so you're thinking, oh, if I do these things, it'll happen.
It's how you go about it.
Yeah, if a man learns the skill, this quote unquote, of flirting and impressing a woman, to get what they want, sex, then they'll use that skill. But I think when it's truly unwanted, there's it's different. Yeah, you have to, and it's tough. I think when you're a young man, you may not know exactly where that line is.
Now I'm going to flip the script here, since this popped in my head, because 90% of this episode is to look out and see a woman's perspective, and maybe we should respect that a little more. But there is one situation that pops out to me that I do feel women take advantage of men, is young women with older men.
Young women with older men.
When you're seeing a 18, 19, 20 to 25-year-old girl with a 60-year-old man.
You think that she's the manipulator in that case?
Oh, 1,000%.
Really?
Like, there is no way she is going home with these big old saggy gray balls, finding this man attractive that's overweight, that has a lot of money, that can give her anything that she wants. I think you're taking one for the female population team. And you're like, everybody has a way to get by in life and to make life easier the best you can. I mean, do you think that there's a high percentage of young ladies out there that are with these men 40 years older that they love them for who they are?
Okay, I think that there are such things as gold diggers for sure, and that's in both genders. I mean, if I was 18 and good looking, I would and there was some older chick who was really wealthy.
Oh, I would go for it.
I might have been like, and she was into me. I might have been game.
But don't you think the older women that are widows and that have money left over, like they're looking for another man close to their age to like share and express themselves with? That's another thing.
So that's what I was getting at. I think the men who are that old are looking for that. They're looking for young women.
Right.
A lot of them, and so they're part of the problem too. They let that happen. I mean, I can't imagine myself being in my 60s or 70s, somehow end up single and then going after somebody who's 30, 40 years my junior. It'd be ridiculous.
But I feel like money is highly involved on both sides.
That's the other thing. There's also a lot of those relationships where money isn't a thing, and that those women are just into those men. I think that can happen. Is it possible for a young woman to be interested in older men? Yes, because I think they see security. Maybe they see maturity. Maybe they see something their father never gave them. I mean, right? There's a lot of things that could be there that could be love or mistaken for,
right.
That aren't about money. Now, if there's a big age difference and a big money difference, I think they're both part of the problem. No man is going to be manipulated by an 18-year-old. No 70-year-old man is going to be manipulated by an 18-year-old to do something they don't want to do.
I mean, one thing that pops up that I've talked to my wife and her friends about, like, when you're looking at celebrities like Leonardo DiCaprio.
I was just thinking, he's not being manipulated. That man is out there looking for 18 to 22-year-olds.
Right.
He
and
knows,
he doesn't care if they're taking advantage of him.
I'm sure they signed in paperwork. He knows what he wants, which is weirdly young women.
Like, the youngest to the point of...
He gets rid of them when they're 21 or 22 or something weird.
Right.
And then goes and gets another one. Like, so that he's the problem in that case. I don't think that yes, I'm sure a bunch of women are throwing themselves at him because he's got money and he's famous and he's an actor or whatever, but I think he lets that happen.
So,
those men choose who they want.
If I had money, right, and I want to... Oh, jeez, I keep hitting that a lot today. And I was single when I had money and I was in my 50s, 60s, and I wasn't really fit or anything. I was just like a kind of slob, but I had money. And I wanted to take a trip to Vegas, and I wanted to take 5 attractive girls with me, and I would pay for their whole trip. Now, the thing that they...
Dan Balzerian or whatever the fuck his name is.
Yeah. Now, Dan's... I mean, he's probably 40s, right? I'm talking about old man.
Old man. Yeah.
Anywhere between, like, 55... Let's say 55 and 70.
And not necessarily good looking.
What do you think? Would I have trouble finding these 5 attractive girls to take on this trip with me that I wanted them to dress the best? I would pay for everything for them. And when we got there, like,
would you have a hard time?
Yeah, would I have a hard time finding me 5 attractive girls to go and do anything I wanted while I was there?
It depends how much money we're talking. If you are the average, not average, but if you have, a comfortable life and some savings and maybe a decent retirement, but you don't look like you're balling out of control, I think, you would struggle. Where are you going to go? You're going to go to the mall and be like, hold a sign up like, I have $1 million. Who wants to come to Vegas with me? I think you're going to have trouble. But I think if you were like,
would I have trouble if
you pulled up in your Lambo or your Rolls Royce or something like that, I think it would be different.
Right.
You're going to get, a bunch of gold diggers who are going to be like, yeah, I'll go to Vegas with you.
Do you think I would have trouble if I was at the local strip club and told 5 girls there, hey...
Well, right. Yeah, no.
It'd be a different scenario.
Yeah, you could go to the strip club or, you could probably post something on Craigslist and get a bunch of girls to come with you.
Like, there's got to be... I mean, that stuff does happen, but I think it's more...
But that's literally you're putting out an advertisement to get taken advantage of.
Right.
They know... That's what I mean. They know what they're signing up for. It's like those men who sign up for sugar daddy relationships or whatever. Like, they know they're going to pay this person for this pseudo attention. Like, that's the relationship. They both know what they're doing.
And you brought up a great person, and I actually forgot about this because it was huge for a while, Dan.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a picture that you could find with him without laying in bed with 5 or 6 girls.
They're hookers, though. He literally pays hookers.
So is that what it is then, you think?
1,000% they're escorts. He pays escorts. That's what he does. Those women...
I mean, these girls are top of the line.
He's paying top of the line escorts for their time.
Just to hang out with him. And
he says he does it. He straight up talks about the fact that he pays these women. And yeah, now some of them, after a while, may have come in from, like, Instagram and stuff like that, and they may be, pseudo-influencers or whatever, and they might just be girls who like that attention and they want to be posted on Dan's wall. But he pays women to do that, yeah. And so, and again, a lot of these celebrities, they pay women either directly or indirectly, and they have contracts. Like, I mean, I don't know this firsthand. I never had sex with a celebrity, but if you have sex with a celebrity, I'm pretty sure they have paperwork.
Yes. That has been bigger and bigger where you're signing off where you can't take
tell
videos.
People, you can't take you can't share about it, whatever. These are the rules, and if you break these rules, we're going to sue you to death.
I tell you, at some point, I wouldn't doubt there's celebrities that have a bodyguard in the room or like videotaping to prove that you're not raping, you're not doing something like you shouldn't have. Because I feel like once you get into a room alone with a girl and you're a celebrity, or even a guy, like with a celebrity girl, like who, if you call rape on that, like who can defend it?
If you slept with Beyonce, would you say she raped you?
Maybe. I mean, maybe she would. I don't know.
she might, yeah. Yeah, I mean, Jay-Z's pretty ugly.
He is. He's gotten uglier. That's the
He's an
problem.
ugly guy.
He is.
Yeah.
Like
He's got $1 billion.
I mean, you have to find somebody. I mean, she's close to his level too. I guess that's why they're getting older.
She doesn't look older.
Do you think prostitution should be legal?
Oh boy. Okay, so I think probably yes. If you want to do something like that with your life, then you should be able to.
Right.
Like as a woman.
I feel the same way, or a man.
Yeah, if you want to go out there and be a gigolo, like go for it. I don't think that the government should have a say in whether or not someone can use their body to make money in that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I also think by legalizing it, they could put safeguards in to protect people who are probably already doing that. I mean, obviously prostitution happens, and if it were legal, then there'd be things like mandatory testing. There'd be legal prostitutes. There would be more sexual health centers.
STD rate would go up a little bit.
I think it would go down.
You think so?
I do, because I think by making it illegal, those people don't get tested. They do it in an underground way. You end up with people who are breaking the law doing this thing. So it's people who are not worried to break the law.
Right.
And then, you end up probably transmitting more sexual diseases. But if you have it legal, then I'm pretty sure people, there'd be more testing. I mean, you can look at countries that do that do make prostitution legal. It's not as much of a taboo. These people get, there's like safe places to go. They get tested. It's more.
Would cheating go down? Divorce rate. Do you think divorce would go down?
I don't know the numbers about the number of people who get divorced over prostitution. I don't know. I mean, if you're in a relation, if you're married and you're in a situation where you're seeing a prostitute, I think your problem is bigger than the prostitution. Like, it stems from an issue between those two people.
Yeah, and I feel this is crazy, but I've talked to my wife about this before. I think the thing that happens is I love scenarios.
I mean, I can see, yeah, you're good at it.
If she says, if you go out and somehow you end up sleeping with one of my friends,
yeah,
like that is totally different than you going to a massage parlor and getting a happy ending.
Oh, wow. Did your wife give you a hall pass to go to a massage parlor?
No, but I mean, I went to Vegas a lot when I was younger, and that's big out there.
Yeah. I mean, I remember when I went to Thailand. It's really big out there, and my uncle was like this guy who I'd never met. I think I told you about him before, trying to get me to go get a soapy massage.
Soapy massage.
Yeah, they bathe you, they soap you up.
They're like, we don't want you stinky if you're going to be naked.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean that stuff happens, but.
Oh my gosh,
I guess it is okay. So that's the thing too. Like, transactional sex is probably, I think, by a lot of women, maybe your wife included, a different story than like an emotional sexual relationship.
Right.
Like if you were having an emotional sexual relationship with someone, even if it was a prostitute, like someone that you fell in love with, I think that would be seen as very different.
That's a very big difference, is the emotional part of a cheating than a cheating. I think that all cheating is cheating, but I think that relationships can get through if you're like, oh man, I went to Vegas and slept with a hooker, rather than I went to Vegas with one of your good friends that I'm in love with.
Yeah, that's a different story.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you might be able to battle through, oh my God, you're a pig. You went to Vegas and paid for a stripper, rather than sitting and having a conversation. You just slept with my best friend Susie, and you said that you were in love with her.
Yeah, you can't get over that. Right?
No.
Right.
But if I could take back time, and it was legal, as a young man, I would probably take money from older women.
Oh, for sure.
To do that.
100%.
Yeah, like I just feel like
I would have been a gigolo if I knew that was an option.
Even if it was an older woman, I wasn't attracted to it. Like, still, they want to pay me?
Yeah, so, like, men don't see this as a problem. It's interesting. Men are creating these laws that make it illegal. Like, by and large, there's almost no female representation in politics.
Right.
So men are creating these rules that make it illegal, and men are the one that create the industry. If men didn't want to have sex with prostitutes, there wouldn't be prostitutes.
Again,
So it's weird. It's like how Florida's banning Pornhub. Like, men created those rules to ban Pornhub, and men are the ones using Pornhub.
right.
And men now are going to be the ones illegally using Pornhub in Florida by getting a VPN or something. You know? Like, so it is weird. It's weird.
I mean, everything that you hear about is like women involved. Like, sport anchors, when things come out, it's like the women have been assaulted. Or in politics, the women have been assaulted. In the military, women have been assaulted.
And not that men don't get assaulted, but I think, like I was saying, I think men wouldn't view it as assault.
In my mind,
If I was a Marine and I woke up to a woman in my bed, a stranger, I wouldn't be. I mean, I don't think I'd be disappointed.
And that goes to, it's a serious topic, but coming from a guy's standards, it's really hard for a guy to sit and
But
discuss
if another dude
a man being assaulted.
unless you imagine it as another man.
Right.
If you woke up as a Marine and there's another Marine in your bed, sweaty ass guy in your ear, like, take it.
Right.
Yeah, you'd be like, yeah, it'd be fucked.
Man, what a...
I mean, unless you get down like that.
I just read this story on TikTok. I didn't really read it. I always watch, and it's like...
Yeah, not a lot of books on TikTok.
Yeah. A 14-year-old boy
Yeah.
raped and sexually assaulted a 91-year-old woman.
Oh, God.
And I was watching, like, the interview.
Of the boy?
Yeah, and,
What
like...
was his justification? What did he do? Why?
I never got to that part. I guess I'm waiting for that to be released.
Part 3? Yeah.
It's kind of like how when I release stuff, sometimes like I'll put like part 1, part 2, and I'll forget, and then I'll
You know what
release
the
part
good
3.
trick would be is do 1 and then 4. Just
Oh,
miss 2 and 3.
2 and 3.
And people are going through your whole thing, like, where's 2 and 3?
And I believe it was his mom or his grandma was in the interview room, because I mean he is 14, so probably somebody has to be present. She's
Imagine
like,
how disappointed they must be, dude.
she's like, please just tell them the truth. Like, why? Why would you do this?
Yeah.
Like, they said they walked in and a 90-year-old woman was just like bleeding because he was punching her and hitting her, and then sexually raped her, assaulted her.
Jesus
14
Christ.
and 91.
That's fucked.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I think that person should have just seen a prostitute.
Yeah, that would have a 14. You should.
He should have just bought a hooker. I mean, what is he doing?
Right. I don't know. That might take down the sexual assaults too.
Yeah, again, I mean, if you legalize it and regulate it, I think it takes down the taboo. Okay, like marijuana. We put people in jail for marijuana still to this day here in West Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
If we legalized it, by definition, it wouldn't be illegal. You wouldn't be putting people in jail for it. So the crime rate for marijuana crimes would go down to next to 0 because it's not a crime anymore. And we'd have to take care of that many less people, that many fewer inmates that we have to pay for out of tax dollars. But then the question is, does usage go up or down? And so I think there is a portion of people like with marijuana that would start smoking marijuana or try it because it was illegal and they were by the books following the law and they didn't want to do something that was illegal. But I think for the most part, those people who wanted to try pot are already smoking pot.
Pot's like faded away. Like, I mean, it's not that big a deal anymore.
In
like you
states
hear
that it's
people,
legal,
yeah, like it's
not.
oh,
Well, I
you
mean,
smoke
even-
pot? Okay, I drink alcohol.
Even
like it's,
here, like, you know, if you run into somebody here where it is still illegal who smokes pot, they're not like, I mean, most people aren't hiding it to the 10th degree. Like, they're not like super down low about it.
right.
Like, you can go to Walmart and smell people who reek like weed right now. And that's always been the case. But I don't know. I feel like it's just, I I think if people want to do it, they're already doing it. They're just hiding it.
If I could own a business and prostitution was legal,
You'd have a brothel.
this is what kind of
I think brothels should only be owned by women.
but listen to this is a great thing. I think, like, okay, prostitution's legal, and Josh is going to open up a brothel.
This is a bad idea.
What my brothel is going to have
Just men.
is just men. No, it's got you can have men and women, but I'm going to be making mad money, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm always going to have a psychologist on staff. Like, I want to make sure when you go through your interview, why you're doing it. If you are doing it based on a certain decision that you're going to regret it every day and you're only doing it for the money,
Maybe you shouldn't do it.
you shouldn't do it. Like, I feel like it would be set up where I don't want people to regret it. I want people to do it because this is a way of life, this is a career, this is a pathway, and that there's always somebody there. If you see somebody acting a little weird, hey, go see Suzanne. Today I need you to go see her for a little while and just talk about this. Kind of like cops have
They have people, yeah.
that can talk to them through different situations.
Yeah.
Like, I would want my
I
employees to feel not every day coming in just feeling demeaned by a job.
Yeah. No, I think there's something problematic about a guy owning a brothel and making a bunch of money off of the women who have to have sex every day. So maybe you ever heard of a B Corp?
No.
Okay, a B Corp is a type of business that you run, a structure that it's employee owned. The employees literally are the owners,
Right.
and you get greater ownership the longer you stay.
Maybe what position you're in, you get more like,
More stock, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think brothels should be B Corps.
or I just tell my wife, talk her into being the CEO.
I could never see your wife walk.
Here's my idea.
I could never see your wife owning a brothel. That would be the funniest change in life. Like, if we fast forwarded 20 years from now and your wife's owning a brothel, I would be mind blown. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see anything with making it
They
legal.
should be employee owned. If you're laying down for a paycheck, then you should probably own the entity that's in it.
That's the thing, though. Like, if
Like that guy in Vegas that died now, that he owned the Bunny Ranch or whatever, that TV show.
Oh, did he die?
Oh, he's dead. Long.
Oh, the Bunny Ranch has always been. I used to love watching stuff on that.
Yeah.
Like,
I know.
they did it right.
Yeah, well, well, hold on. I think the problem is that guy. The problem was that guy. He made a bunch of money off of young girls who came in looking to make money.
And he looked shady, too.
He looked shady. The place looked shady. I mean, it seemed like he was exploiting these women in a way.
And don't tell me, like, he wasn't going around making them do things for him.
I'm sure he was. Yes. And
But didn't he have, like, a woman underneath of him that was, like...
the madam or whatever?
Yeah.
He had like a den mother sort of figure.
I get what you're saying. Like, maybe you can own it from the outside, but anybody, like...
Maybe there's somebody who maintains the property and like files the taxes and stuff, like some business owner sort of role. But I think that person should be paid like an employee. Like for one guy to make half of what all the women make,
Right.
and not have to like suck dick for it.
That's true.
It's kind of fucked. Yeah.
Do you look at it the same as owning a strip club?
Yeah, like I mean, I know a guy who owns a strip club, and he's not a bad person from all accounts that I know of, but like it is probably most cases, pretty shady business, and it's a weird thing to profit off. Now, what they're making money on is the entrance fees and the liquor, and they have to deal with the law and the taxes and all
And
this
the
stuff.
drama.
And the drama. So they're hiring and firing and so no doubt a club owner or manager is putting in work.
Mm.
But if they also took half the tips, I feel like that'd be weird.
Right.
Like that woman had to get naked and dance on someone's lap for that $30. They should probably keep that money.
I mean, private rooms are split usually with...
That's weird to me.
Yeah.
I think they should just keep it.
Like, I want half of your money for you going in and performing this on another man. Yeah, that gets
weird,
a little
right?
weird.
That's weird.
Oh, I think you could be the most decent, best person ever, and 80% of the people are going to think you're scum because you own a strip
You
club.
own a strip club, yeah.
I mean, that's just society and how it's looked at.
Yeah. I mean, I guess in every business, though, you to some degree, you're making money off of the work that your employees put in. Like, you know, no matter what you do, if a business owner, like, let's say you own a construction company, your men are out there doing the, you know, digging the ditches, and you're making part of the money. But I think it's just different when there's sex involved.
I mean, there is Thunder from Down Under.
What's that?
That's the group. Isn't that the group that goes around the men that do, like, the women go to the shows and the men, like, strip and things like that?
Yeah. They go through a lot of whipped cream.
They do. But I honestly think that a woman is more about a man's, like, body and attractiveness, then I think most women are going to be like, ooh, a wiener is disgusting looking. Like, yeah, intercourse is good, but a wiener is just weird. Like, I'm not trying to go watch a man swing his wiener around in my face. Like, I
imagine you're not, yeah.
Yeah. Where a man just loves everything. Like,
take it all, yeah.
A woman could just not even show her front and just show her naked booty, and men would go crazy over it.
Yeah, and even strip clubs that don't have stereotypically attractive women are still busy.
Well, that's why they're in the dark.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You
there was a club back in Rochester. It was like that's the place where, like, the retired strippers go work, and it was still busy.
I mean, if you go to a strip club and you're rating girls on 0 to 10, you're just hoping there's some 6s there.
That's the best you go for.
And if there's 6s in there, then there are 1s outside.
Yeah. Yeah.
Me and my friends used to go, that's the number one thing when we graduated and we turned 18, strip club. And we live in West Virginia where there's strip clubs. We'd go to Myrtle Beach. On senior week, there's strip clubs. Even the girls would go with us. But you don't go into a strip club thinking you're going to find 10 out of 10s everywhere you look around. Now, there is a place in Myrtle Beach. It's called Masters. And we went there a couple of times, and their girls are they're not American. A lot of them are European, where they have the European look, or Brazilian, or this and that. It's very rare you go to a strip club and you see attractive American girls working in them. Like, they're pulling in girls that are probably on visas working for the summer at, like, Myrtle Beach and how they do Ocean City, and they're attractive girls. Now, I would say some of these strip clubs you go to...
that could be a conflict, too. Like, is that like...
Oh, yes.
Are they being...
Welcome to America,
trafficked?
where you can strip and make money.
Yeah, is that the American dream? We really want new Americans to live. I don't know. I mean, again, inherently, I don't think there's anything that... I don't think it should be shameful to take off your clothes for money.
Right.
But it's not, like, the best job.
No.
Like, okay, working at fast food. Like, you shouldn't be ashamed if you have to go work fast food. I think you and I have talked about this. If we were broke, we would do it. We're not too prideful to go do it.
You should be ashamed if you work fast food and you're a piece of shit and work half-ass.
Yeah, and but should should we bring people in from other countries to work fast food because that's the American dream? I don't think so. Like, people should want to come to America because there's good jobs.
I love going through a fast food restaurant drive-through and it's young kids working that are super polite, trying to do their best.
Yeah.
Then going through a drive-through and having 30-year-old felons that got out of jail and they're just assholes. Right.
Yeah.
Well, I hope that 90% of this episode we took the women's side.
I hope so, too.
And we hope we brighten some eyes out there that...
I think if our wives look at this or listen to this episode, I'm hoping they would be proud at our perspective.
Yeah.
I think they will. They might be. Here's the thing. This is such a sensitive topic, a series of topics. There's probably no real right way to thread this needle. But at the end of the day, I guess I want to say that we should probably make women feel safer. Right?
100%.
Women should feel safe wherever they go.
And a lot of people won't understand us until they're married and have kids and have, like, that's...
Yeah, some young, like, incel fucking 20-year-old is probably going to be like, fuck all that. But, like, yeah, I think women should feel safe wherever they go. They should, they shouldn't have to feel like they're hypersexualized They should be able to wear what they want to wear. I think at the end of the day, you should, as a woman, you should be able to go outside naked and not expect to get groped or raped.
Right.
Like, just whatever you wear shouldn't affect whether you have autonomy of your body, I think. And I don't, and then we should legalize prostitution. That's what I want to
say. And I want to point out too, like, being our age and being married and having kids and things, like, and growing up and being in different relationships, like, if you're younger or female, like, don't be afraid to say no.
Totally.
In a relationship, because if that guy at that time does not understand, then that's probably not the guy you want to be with.
Absolutely, yeah.
Now, at the same time, though, if you feel that way, let him know that you're a 6-month, 8-month, 2-year person before you want to do that, because more than likely, he's probably not going to stick around, but it's better than putting you in a position that's forcing you.
Yeah, for sure. I hope my daughter grows up and knows how to, say what she wants.
Right.
Clearly, and to be vocal about it, not be ashamed.
A girl should never have to sleep with a guy just to keep him in the relationship.
That's big. Now, what about...
Now, guys, if you like a girl and you need to stay in a relationship and she wants to sleep with you, just do it.
Just do it. Yeah.
Just do it. Take one for the men's team.
You'll be all right. You probably won't regret it. Yeah.
But go women. That's our episode today.
Yeah.